Welcome to the Matt Phillips podcast. I am Matt Phillips, your sales leadership coach, mental toughness expert, and founder of Matt Phillips Coaching. We help sales managers and leaders make more money, save time, and become kick-ass leaders of their sales teams. And that's what we're here to talk about on this podcast. We are here to give you the tools and tactics to build a well-oiled sales machine and teach you the mental toughness skills so you can show up confident, focused, emotionally in control, and ready to energize your team. It's time to talk sales leadership and mental toughness. Let's get into today's episode. Welcome to today's podcast episode. It is Matt, and today I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the exact coaching methodology that I use and our team uses when we're coaching different individuals that we're working with one-on-one. And it's a methodology that you can utilize as well, and that we go deep into in our online programs and coaching sessions. But I want to give you a little glimpse into what it's like and what it's all about. So it's something that can be useful for you as well. And I know that you're having the same experiences that I have, that our clients have, where this methodology becomes even more important. And if you think about it, it's a way to coach yourself or coach your team through issues that are holding them back or getting in their way. And I hear a lot. We just had one of our group coaching calls for our online program Friday last week. And one of the things we were talking about was, this one individual brought up an example of an email that was sent to them that, let's just put it this way, was interpreted in an interesting way. And I'm sure you've got those emails that just make you furious, right? So maybe you're expecting some sort of response that are written a certain way, and what shows up is totally different, right? And I've even had one, sharing this story last week, that at one point I replied to this email. This is back in my corporate days, and they want a feedback from like 50 people, right? So everybody clicks reply all and then puts all their responses in different colors, right? And so for me, like, there were a bunch of people who filled it out already. So I'm like, oh, well, how do I make it different? So I did all caps. And so I replied in all caps and then sent the email, replied to everybody. And then I get a call from my boss. And she goes, well, just heads up that sometimes when you reply in all caps, people take offense to that because they think that you're yelling at them. And my reaction to that was not the best. I was like, you have to be kidding me. Like, my intent was not yelling and all this stuff. She goes, I know. But don't we have all these things that just, I don't know, frustrate us, that get us in our way? And one thing we talk about from like a mindset, mental toughness perspective is like, all the things, there are going to be things all the time that throw us off track, right? That frustrate us, that delay us, that confuse us, that overwhelm us. And we're going to get thrown off track. And this coaching methodology is something that you can utilize to get back on, right? Get the train back on the rails, as they say. Because even in that moment where I replied in all caps and my boss calls me to explain that, I didn't know it at the time, but I was working through this same methodology that I'm going to share with you today. So in those emails that frustrate you, that overwhelm you, that the phone calls, I don't know, the memos, I don't even know if memos exist anymore. They don't, but you get my drift, right? That conversation with a colleague or client or prospect, it's understanding how do we mentally get ourselves in a place where we can react the right way and keep moving forward. So the methodology that we teach is called the FFAR methodology. Think about going far, right? And it's FFAR, and it stands for feelings, facts, action, results. And today I don't have enough time to kind of dive deep into it and give you the, specific steps that you perform in each of these different parts of the FFAR methodology. And we have worksheets and all sorts of stuff that we teach on. But to give you a very high level glimpse, let's dive into each of them. And the first F is feelings. So just with everything that we have, when something happens, we're going to have a thought that occurs in our mind, followed by some sort of feeling. Right. And you go back to the early days of psychology, right? And they've studied this over and over again, like a thought leads to a feeling. And the feeling could be sadness, it could be happiness, it could be anything all over the board. But part of our methodology is like, let's acknowledge the feeling. Let's call it out. Let's say this is what it is. This is what I'm feeling right now. One thing I was taught coming up in baseball was that it's almost like feelings aren't the best, right? It's like hide your feelings, like especially for males. It's like take whatever feeling you have, like negativity, just bury it low. Even if you're sad, bury it to a place where no one will find out. And I just think that's the most silly thing in the world. It's like we should be saying like, this is how I'm feeling. This is the thought I'm having right now. Because when we acknowledge it, we can actually do something about it. But if we bury it, it just eats away at you and it's just kind of there behind the scenes. And that's what the first step is like, okay, like what are you thinking? What are you feeling? Like what's going on inside, and say it out loud. So that's kind of that first step. And again, I'm giving you kind of high level overview of this today. But the second kind of piece is facts, right? And it's analyzing, it's kind of taking that feeling and being like, okay, hold on a minute. Now, what are the facts that I know to be true about this situation? Right? What's the truth of what's going on? What do I know? What do I really not know about what's going on? You know, Matt sends that email with all caps back to you. Did Matt intend to do that in a mean way? Like, was Matt intending in a way that he wanted to come across like he was yelling? Well, in a lot of cases, we don't know if that's true or not. Now, I already told you it wasn't true, but you didn't talk to me. So how that was received by you, I can't tell you. But this is such a key step because we have to get to the truth in what we know versus what we don't. Because then we can get on to that next item, right? Once we've analyzed this and kind of say, okay, now based on what I know, the feelings and the facts, what action can I take from this? What can I do with this information? And there's a whole step that we go through and teach people to do in the training class where it's just this little level deeper, right? But it's at the end of the day, we have to take some sort of action based off of this because, by the way, an action can be doing nothing at all, right? Because sometimes responding when you're not in the right frame of mind is the worst thing you can do. So that action isn't what you want to do, but it's analyzing what action or inaction do I want to take on this item right now based on the result, the R in the methodology, that I want to achieve. So as we work through this, the feelings, the facts, the very specific intentional actions that we need to take, that's going to achieve some sort of result. And it's dreaming about like, what result do I want? Because that should drive the action, which is ultimately going to lead to a factual information coming out about it and then a feeling from that. So this is something that FFAR methodology, when you're out there just dealing with life and the things coming at you, think through that methodology of the feelings. What are the facts? What's the action I'm going to take? And what is the result that I want to achieve? And it's something that I use in my business and I use in my personal life. It's something that obviously every coaching call that I'm on, that I'm running, every one-on-one interaction with people, behind the scenes, and people don't really know it, I'm thinking and coaching through that methodology. So hopefully that's a little helpful for you today. It's something that, again, because of our group coaching calls and all the one-on-one work that we do as a team, it's something so important, so in the front of our minds, and critical for every leader to understand and teach and coach their people through. So hopefully that's helpful for you. Hopefully it's something you can implement with yourself, with your team, and find it very beneficial, because it is. I tell you that from personal experience and also working with hundreds of clients over the years. So with that, that's the end of today's podcast episode. So if you found this interesting, please share it. Please subscribe to our podcast channel, our podcast show. And I cannot wait to see you on the next episode. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for joining us today on the Matt Phillips podcast. If you are like us, we know that you are here to do great things, to become the sales leader that makes things happen and drives big time sales results. We know you have that big vision, and we are here to help get you where you want to go. We're here to help you develop that unstoppable, rock solid leadership skill set and help you train to master the one true differentiator: mental toughness. We would love to be part of your journey. So if you are ready, head over to mattphillipscoaching.com and check out the ways that we can help. As always, Please share this episode and make sure you subscribe by clicking the button below. Thank you again. And now, go crush the day.